The assumption is, on my part, there's going to be some sort of suspension for Deshaun Watson, be it 6, 8, 10, 12 games. All right, so that means Jacoby Brissett is likely to be the starting quarterback, barring some unforeseen trade after the Watson suspension comes down. What do you expect? What can Browns fans expect? What do you expect? What should we all expect from Jacoby Brissett as a starter with a pretty good roster?
Yeah, it's interesting because he is the most likely Week 1 starter, and he is the one of the three. I guess there's technically 4 quarterbacks in Cleveland who gets no press. Nobody ever talks about what Jacoby Brissett can do. I actually went back and watched what he did a little bit with Miami last year. He started, I think it was 5 games, but the full season where he started for the Colts. And it's interesting because he is sort of the anti-Baker. If Baker Mayfield's willingness to challenge the defense and make mistakes and live with it, if that bothered you, you're going to like Jacoby Brissett a lot because he's a guy, he is so risk averse that it creates problems for his offense because he doesn't actually challenge down the field. There are instances, and if you watch the Dolphins tape earlier last year, now, to be fair to Jacoby, this is also true with Tua Tagovailoa. Defenses didn't even cover deep because they knew that he wasn't ever going to throw there. And some of that was weapon related. They had a lot of guys, especially in his Colts years, other than T.Y. Hilton, that work sort of that intermediate range, and he's good and fairly accurate at that. But he's a very different style of quarterback. He's not a guy who's going to take a chance if he sees that a guy's covered. He's not throwing him open. He's not going to try, and that's something. It will play to Kevin Stefanski's sensibilities to some extent, but at the same time, I think we're going to see David Njoku be frustrated when he has a step on a guy, but Jacoby is afraid to pull the trigger because the safety might creep over there. And look, Jacoby, he's pretty accurate, especially on shorter passes. He is very good at recognizing the easiest option on a route. That's something. When remember the Denver game last year when Case Keenum came in. And it felt like Case struggled a little bit with that. So I think you're going to see Brissett be a slightly better version of the Case Keenum that we saw last year, rather than a guy who's going to be what Deshaun Watson or Baker Mayfield would be in this offense. And that can work, but it's going to require, and again, this is where Amari Cooper's presence comes in. The fact that he can create after the catch. The fact that you got a guy like David Bell who can catch a 2-yard slant and turn it into an 8 or 9 yard gain on first down. That's critical for a guy like Jacoby Brissett because he's not going to be a guy who challenges down the field. His average air yards per attempt was lowest in the league, or in the bottom 3 in the league, every time he's been a qualifying player. That's not going to change in Cleveland. That's who he is. This is, I believe, it's his 7th NFL season. It's his 4th NFL team. He is who he is. You got to understand who he is, and hopefully Kevin Stefanski realizes that. But just expect more cautiousness. And for those of you, and I'm one of them who screamed, "Run the stinking ball more!" Expect to see that.